U.S. government confirms for the very first time that Iran is behind hack attacks on the campaigns of the Democrat and Republican White House nominees. And there are concerns people tied to Tehran's government could also be funding these demonstrations that we continue to see at the DNC. But that could be difficult to track with protesters using these encrypted apps to organize and show up. Joining us now, Paul Morrow. He knows a lot about this. He's an attorney, retired NYPD inspector, Fox News contributor. He joins us live from the DNC. So, Paul, tell us what you are seeing and hearing so far. How organized is this?
Well, first of all, you win or lose these things as law enforcement in the planning. And very clearly, Chicago PD has done a great deal of planning. Reportedly, it's been a year in planning with both the police department, outer agencies, and the federal agencies. Last night, we were in the park near the Union Center, where some of the demonstrators had decided they were going to erect a tent city. That was a new thing. Up until that point, the only real disruption we had was the breach in the wall. And how ironic is it that the Democrats are using a two-wall system in order to repair a breach like that, which is very much like the border wall that Donald Trump has proposed for the south border. So nonetheless, that was assuaged. And then at the park, they decided they were going to set up these tents. And ultimately, the negotiations broke down. Chicago PD was very, very patient, very professional, handled it very well. Ultimately, they moved in, took down one of the tents. Demonstrators got the idea, took down the rest of the tents by themselves. The situation was diffused. And realistically, last night went about as well as you could hope if you're sitting where Chicago PD is.
Paul, this is an example of how they're using these encrypted apps to organize and show up at these protests. This one is on Telegram, according to a Political report. The activist group Palestine Action US on Monday posted a schedule on Telegram for an entire week of protests, including, Paul, breakfasts, movie screenings, and street rallies. The growing conglomerate of Telegram accounts demonstrates the ease with which organizers can share reams of information from a wide variety of sources. Wouldn't be the first time that we have seen that. And it seems to be the number of these encrypted apps is growing in use as well, Paul. This was an exchange we played out earlier. We'll put it up on the screen again for our viewers. Mike Tobin with a Chicago protester on the ground there. Watch this.
You support Hamas?
Every Palestinian support Hamas, not just me. Every Palestinian support Hamas.
You support October 7th?
Who?
October 7th.
October 7? Yes, I do. What's wrong with October 7? You tell me.
Women and children.
What?
It's a murder.
What is this
A stunning exchange, Paul.
Yeah, so there is a continuum of activists out there, and some of them are just calling for a change on Middle East policy. But what we need to understand also, and I think a lot of people don't understand this, is that there is a career path for professional agitators in America. They're well-funded. They get money from all the groups that we've heard about previously, the Soros groups, et cetera. And some of this can be quite lucrative. And so what happens? They institutionalize this stuff. They know the tactics. They know the comms, as you've mentioned, Telegram and other apps. And so what happens is you end up really with an intel battle. The forces of law and order try to do everything they can within the law using either search warrants, subpoenas, informants, et cetera, or open source. One thing about Telegram is, look, if they're putting this stuff out to their followers, law enforcement can see it too. And so you have a little bit of an intelligence war at all times going on within these groups. And that's how you stay out ahead of them. But I should just mention, look, it's early in this thing yet. We have a few more days. I think they're going to start to get frustrated because they're not getting the purchase that they want. And let's remember, they're all going to be back on campus this fall. So we could get an October surprise.
And there is, to your point, a growing amount of intelligence we're getting on this. We even had that statement from the DNI Avril Haines on Iran's influence on these growing protests, saying that Iranian government actors have sought to opportunistically take advantage of these protests regarding the war in Gaza using a playbook we've seen other actors use over the years, Paul. We have observed actors tied to Iran's government posing as activists online, seeking to encourage protests, and even providing financial support to those protesters. Paul, great to have you on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator.
All right.